Hey there friends, it's me Peter, and welcome to day 1 of my 2016 25 Days of Christmas reviews. Now as I've said time and again, this year I didn't want to pick the movies to watch. I gave the power to decide which movies to watch to you. And on my Facebook page, many of you left suggestions for Christmas movies and TV specials that you wanted me to review during the next 25 days. And I've picked a couple of them that I will be reviewing right now. And up first, I decided to go with possibly the most requested movie I have had since starting 25 Days of Christmas reviews, even last year. And that, of course, is the Rankin-Bass classic, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Santa Claus is Coming to Town tells the story of how Santa Claus began doing what he does, namely every Christmas Eve flying around all the children's houses and giving them toys. It turns out that Santa Claus was an orphan who was initially left in this town called Somber Town, but because Burgermeister Meisterburger, who was the mayor of the town, didn't like babies, he sent him away and he ended up with a bunch of elves named the Kringle family. From there, he grew up to be Kris Kringle and decided to go out and spread toys to all the children, even the children in Somber Town. Through a series of events, he became known as Santa Claus, and then every December 24th, would go around delivering toys to all the children across the world. First and foremost, the idea for this special is brilliant. I can't think of any other Christmas movie or TV special that detail the origins of Santa Claus and how he came to be. So I gotta give it props for that. It's definitely a unique idea. I also like the story it told and how it unfolded and how it really explained everything. Explained how this orphan became Kris Kringle and he also became Santa Claus, and it explains how he got both those names and how he ended up doing what he did. I thought it was told very, very well. The special also has a very nice combination of humor and scares, though a lot of the scares end up being pretty superficial in the end. I thought the stop motion in this special was really good. I thought it was among the best that Rankin-Bass has ever done. This was done by the same people that did Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and The Little Drummer Boy, all of which I reviewed last year. I was also a huge fan of the voice talents, particularly Mickey Rooney as Santa Claus. He was 50 when he did this movie, and he pulled off doing a young man as well as the stereotypical Santa Claus we all know and love very, very well. I mean, I didn't even realize it was Mickey Rooney until I looked it up, and after I very carefully listened to his voice, because then I could hear the distinctive Mickey Rooney sound. Also, there were a bunch of clever in-jokes in this movie. My personal favorite being when all the kids see Rudolph and they say, "Hey look, there's Rudolph!" And the narrator goes, "Oh no, his is a story for another time." I thought that was really clever and a nice callback to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which I believe came out prior to this one. I think Rudolph came out in the 60s, this one came out in 1970. But with the praise comes criticism, and there is a lot to be, I don't want to say critical of in this movie, but there's some flaws in it. Namely, I feel like the plot moved way too quickly in this movie, particularly with character development. There are two characters in particular whose motivations literally change within a second. There's one guy who's built up to be kind of a big villain, but then after Kris talks to him, he changes, like on a dime, literally like that. The same thing happens with another character in the movie who doesn't like toys, and then after Kris introduces this character to a toy, they're like, oh, maybe toys aren't so bad after all. And literally like that. I mean, that's all the motivation they have for change. Thought that could have been handled a little bit better. Also, I feel like the special really talked down to its target audience at certain points. They had this chorus of kids that every once in a while would interrupt the narrator saying, "Oh, that's how it happened. Oh, that's why they call him Santa Claus," and all this. That got annoying really, really fast. And as I'm watching this, I'm thinking, why don't you let the kids figure it out on their own? You don't need to tell them what to do. Kids are smart. Also, like most other Rankin-Bass specials, the songs really weren't that memorable. Other than the song that the special was named after, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, I really can't think of one song in the movie. There was one song that one character performs that is actually really, really trippy, if I can describe it that way. In fact, I've actually subsequently found out that song is actually cut out of most broadcast versions because it's almost like a big-lipped alligator moment that it literally comes out of nowhere and then it's gone and no one ever mentions it again. Also, this is just kind of a nitpick. How on earth is Burgermeister Meisterburger able to dance and sing with a medical boot on his foot, and then the rest of the movie he spends in a wheelchair? That just didn't make any sense to me. Minor nitpick, but it just drove me crazy at the same time. But overall, Santa Claus is Coming to Town is a nice little inoffensive Christmas movie. I feel like I probably would have gotten more enjoyment out of it if I were a child, because I feel like that's the target audience for this. I did not grow up with this movie. This was my very first time seeing this. I wasn't even aware of its existence until a few years ago. But as I said, there's nothing really wrong with it, nothing egregious, and it tells a good story and teaches good life lessons. So, I'm going to give Santa Claus is Coming to Town a 3 out of 5. Thanks for watching day 1 of my 25 Days of Christmas reviews, my friends. If you enjoyed this, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more Christmas reviews, simply click that subscribe button down below. Tune in tomorrow when I review yet another Christmas TV special. Until then, this is Peter saying see you later.